City Council, Mayor, Attorney Hitchcock, Treasurer, Deputy Clerk, and audience. This is the City of Romulus City Council regular meeting for Monday, April 22nd, 2019. Mr. Chair, roll call was taken at our special meeting held earlier, and we do have a quorum for this meeting.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
The council meeting agenda is as follows. Number 1, agenda. Number 2, minutes. 3, petitioner. 4, chairperson's report. 5, mayor's report. 6A, clerk's report. 6B, treasurer's report. 7, public comment. 8, unfinished business. 9, new business. 10, communication. 11 is warrant 19-08. And number 12 is adjournment. And a motion would be in order to accept the regular council meeting agenda as presented.
So moved to accept the agenda as presented.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Talley, supported by Ms. Abdo, to accept the approval of the agenda as presented. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth? Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Agenda accepted.
2A for approval are the minutes from the regular council meeting held on Monday, April 8th, 2019.
So move for April the 8th, 2019.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Roscoe, for approval of the minutes from a regular council meeting, which was held Monday, April 18th, 2019. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
2B for approval are the minutes from the special meeting held on Monday, April 8th, 2019. This was an open session regarding the 2019-2020 city budget. Motion would be in order to accept those, to approve those special meeting minutes.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Support.
Been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Webb, for approval of the minutes from special meeting held on Monday the 8th, 2019, open session, 2019-20 city budget. Mr. Wadsworth? Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Abstain.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
There are no petitioners on the agenda. Number 4 is the chairperson's report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Tonight, we had a 6 o'clock meeting, 6 p.m. meeting, open study session, discussing our 2019-2020 budget. At this time, the chair gonna recognize Councilman Wadsworth.
Thank you, Mr. Barton. I just would like to remind the public that on the 10th of May, it's the Romulus 15th annual bowl-a-thon for the Romulus animal shelter. We still have a couple spots left. I'm looking for anybody who wants to donate gifts and prizes. Mayor Burkroff is paying for the pizza. I don't know if you realize it or not, but you're paying for the pizza. And everything that we take in that night goes directly to the animal shelter fund.
Thank you, Mr. Wadsworth. I'd just like to have this information was in the clerk's. The City of Romulus citywide free dumping, which is Friday, May the 10th, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., Saturday, May the 11th, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., and it'll be at the south of the Romulus DPW building. Address is 12600 Wayne Road. Must bring proof of residency, no commercial waste accepted. Non-hazardous material only, no pesticide or pesticides, liquid wastes, explosives, lawnmowers, hazardous waste, batteries, flammable liquids, poisons, dirt, antifreeze, cleaning solvent, sod, paint, oil, concrete, stumps. Some of the things local items that such as furniture, appliances, and so on, is limited to 3 per household. Tires are limited to 4 per vehicle, which is tires is accepted. And there'll be no small children in the disposal area. Very important. No exceptions. Items are not to be dumped at the site without supervision. DPW personnel must assist residents so that items are properly disposed of. That concludes the chairperson's report.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion to accept your report.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Talley, to accept the chairperson's report. Ms. Roscoe,
Yes.
Ms. Talley,
Yes.
Ms. Abdo,
Yes.
Ms. Williams, Mr. Wadsworth,
Yes.
Ms. Webb.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Thank you.
Number 5 is the mayor's report.
Good evening, City Council, Treasurer, Clerk, and Deputy Clerk, and audience. Everybody will know this quote. It ties into the season we're in. I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. And everybody knows who that was, Jesus. And I just want to say Happy Easter. It was quite a beautiful day, Resurrection Sunday, as we had another good day today. I hope everybody had a great time with their family and got a chance to remember the reason for the season. A couple other things coming up that I did want to make mention. Later this week, I wanted to give a shout out and wish Bill Wadsworth a happy birthday coming up, end of the week, 26. And then also, we have a milestone with a resident. Jean DeBecke has a 90th birthday, and I have a proclamation that I'll give to Barb. And Barb, did you want to say anything? This is a neighbor that's just a great lady that I know council did one as well, but it's nice to be able to recognize good people for good milestones. So you want to say a couple words, please, Barb?
I would love to. Thank you, Mayor. Jean DeBicke has been my next door neighbor for 50 years. And when I moved, first moved to Romulus, and my boys were babies then. If they'd get sick or I needed anything, I always ran to Jean. She always helped me. She had 5 children. And she's just a beautiful person inside and out. And she's known as Grandma Jean to all the kids in the neighborhood because she'd always kept a protective eye on all of them. She's just a great, great lady. And happy birthday, Jean. I love you.
Thank you, Barb. Happy birthday, Grandma Jean. And we do have a quick video clip with a few things we'll run, and I'll get into my action items, please.
Hi everyone, I'm Jasmine Dancy, and happy Earth Day. Here's what's going on around Romulus. This Wednesday is the Easter Luncheon at the Senior Center at 11 a.m. Local businesses are invited to attend the Romulus Business-to-Business Networking Meeting on Wednesday, May 1st at 7:30 a.m. Please RSVP by calling the Economic Development Office. And next up, we have the events at the Romulus Public Library.
We have our Earth Day story time on Tuesday, April 23rd at 6:30 p.m. Ms. Jasmine, aka Mother Earth, will read to us about the importance of Earth Day, and we will do a fun craft together. Beginning Wednesday, April 17th through the end of May, we will have our toddler story time at 10:30 a.m. That's every week beginning April 17th. And on April 27th, we'll have our Lego Club at 2 p.m.
Our good news of the week is in honor of Earth Day. Please come celebrate with me and the Romulus Garden Club this Saturday at our annual Eco Fair at the Rack from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. This is a free event open to the public and people of all ages. You do not have to be a member of the Rack to attend. There will be 18 local and regional environmentally friendly organizations and vendors, crafts, free activities, and door prizes. 4 groups will also hold half-hour informational presentations at 11, 11:30, 12, and 12:30. As another Earth Day reminder, please also save the dates for our annual Clean Sweep this year on Saturday, May 11th. The DDA is also partnering to host a new Spring Fling in conjunction with this event with fun, free games, activities, and food vendors. Come meet us on May 11th to clean up from 9 a.m. to noon and Spring Fling from 12 to 4 p.m., all held at the Historical Park downtown. Hope to see you at both of these great events. Thanks everyone. Remember to like and share us on Facebook and YouTube or visit our website for more info. Have a great night, everybody.
Mr. Chairman, I do have some action items tonight. The first item A, there's 3 different motions required. As you know, this is all pertaining to the world-famous Pumpkin Festival and Parade of Lights coming up. So as you can see, as we go through, some are for the light parade, some are for road closures and for the event. So those are the 3 before you that we do every year for Pumpkin Fest.
Chair, I'll make the first motion that says to concur with administration authorizing no fee permit for all Pumpkin Festival and Parade of Lights activities during the Pumpkin Festival weekend of September 20th through September 21st, 2019.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Abdo, to concur with administration authorizing no fee permit for all Pumpkin Festival and Parade of Lights activities during the Pumpkin Festival weekend of September the 20th through September 21st, 2019. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth? Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that second motion to concur with administration and authorize the closure of Hunt Street between Goddard Road and Bivens Street between 8 a.m., the closure of Goddard Road between Moore Street and the railroad tracks beginning at 10 a.m. on Friday, September 20th, 2019, and ending at 2 a.m. on Sunday, September 22nd, 2019.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Webb. That is to concur with administration, authorize the closure of Hunt Street between Goddard Road and Bivens Street beginning at 8 a.m. and closure of Goddard Road between Moore Street and the railroad tracks beginning at 10 a.m. on Friday, September 20, 2019, and ending 2 a.m. on Sunday, September 22nd, 2019. Discussion? No discussion. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Mr. Chair, I make that last motion to concur with administration and authorize the closure of Goddard Road, beginning at Wayne Road, ending at 5 points, beginning at 7 p.m. on Friday, September 20th, 2019, reopening at 10 p.m. Friday, September 20th, 2019, for the Rotary Parade of Lights.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Abdo, to concur with the administration authorize the closure of Goddard Road beginning at Wayne Road, ending at 5 points, beginning at 7 p.m. on Friday, September 20, 2019, reopening at 10 p.m. Friday, September 20th, 2019, for the Rotary Parade of Lights. Discussion? No discussion. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth? Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you for that, council. Next item up is B, and that's a recommendation from Kevin Kraus, our Director of Fire Services and Emergency Management and Legal Counsel. The request is to concur with administration, authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into the attached master educational affiliation agreement, and that's between Romulus Fire Department and Schoolcraft Community College, which will allow the EMS students from Schoolcraft to job shadow with our Romulus Fire Department as part of the state-required clinical contact hours for the EMT program.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move for the affiliation agreement between the Romulus Fire Department and Schoolcraft.
Support.
Been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Webb, for the educational affiliation agreement between Romulus Fire Department and Schoolcraft College. Any discussion? Being no discussion, Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Item C is a recommendation from Lynn Conway, Purchasing Director, and Roberto Scapitici, our DPW Director, and OHM Advisors. This is a request to concur with the administration and award ITB 18/19-21 bid to the lowest, most responsive and responsible bidder, Brigadier Company, for replacement of water main at intersection of Beverly and Middle Belt Roads, and also along E-Course Road between Middle Belt and Birchdale Street. The amount is $1,074,043.40, along with a 10% contingency, which is normal for unseen work. That amount is $107,404.34. Those funds have been verified, budgeted, and come out of the Water Fund 2019 Water Main Construction Expenditure Account.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion for ITB 18/19-21 for the 2019 Water Main Program, project number 0155-18-012.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Webb, for ITB 18/19-21 for the 2019 Water Main Program, project number 0155-18-012. Any discussion?
Yeah, just a real quick question.
Yes, Mr. Talley.
What is that 14 mile west of Inkster? I was just a little bit confused. What is that? I don't know where Birchdale Street is at.
I'm sorry, that's a typo. It should be a quarter mile
Okay,
west of
okay.
Inkster.
I'm like, 14 miles? Okay, no, I'm good, thanks.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next item is a recommendation also from Roberto Scapitici, our DPW director, and it's to concur with the administration and award bid ITB 18/19-26, and it's the lowest and most responsive and responsible bidder, GV Cement Contracting Company, and authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into a 3-year contractual service agreement with this company for an as-needed repair and replacement of concrete areas of the major and local roads and sidewalks throughout the city as deemed necessary by the Director of DPW. These funds have been budgeted and verified and hit both the major street routine maintenance and local street routine maintenance accounts.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. Abdo.
I'll make that motion that we award the bid to GV Cement Contracting Company as per the specifications listed.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Talley, for the ITB 18/19-26, 3-year as needed concrete repair service. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, Ms. Abdo,
Yes.
Ms. Talley,
Yes.
Ms. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth, Ms. Roscoe,
Yes.
Ms. Webb.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Thank you, council. The last action item is a recommendation from Lynn Conway, our purchasing director, J.D. Settles, public safety director, and it's to concur with the administration award bid ITB 18/19-30 to the lowest responsive and most responsible bidder, RNA Facilities Management, and authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into the attached 2-year contractual service agreement with this company for an as-needed work specified in the bid documents with all fees fixed for the term of the contract, and agreement shall be terminate within the last cut of the 2021 mowing season. These funds have been verified and budgeted and will come out of general fund ordinance department weed cutting expenditure account.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move for ITB 18 actual service agreement for grass and weed cutting.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Webb, for ITB 18/19-30, 2-year contractual service contract for grass and weed cutting ordinance department. In discussion?
Yeah, I do have a question.
Yes, Ms. Talley.
Yeah, so I had a question about the per cubic yard for the debris removal. That's just a big disparity between the other 3 comparisons and then the one for RNA facilities. Can somebody help me with that disparity?
You wanna, I think that's from the bid spec is where
Yeah.
you're referring.
Good evening, J.D. Settles, Chief of Police. There is a disparity between the dumping, the cubic yardage, that's a lot higher than some of the other contractors. The weed cutting is the primary service that the contractor will be performing for the city. The average, we probably had 2 dumping or debris removals last year, so we really don't do a lot of debris removal.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
JD.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
No.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
No.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Thank you, council. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mayor.
6A is the clerk's report. I have one action item under my report. I do have a request from someone in the audience that would like to address council regarding agenda item 6A1. Mr. Mays, he's also handed out some some correspondence he would like you to review. Also, with this particular agenda item, you do have an attorney opinion letter that was attached to this agenda item as well, for an explanation from last week. Mr. Mays?
Thank you very much. Good evening. I don't have the benefit of seeing Mr. Hitchcock's response to this, so I have to apologize. I can't address whatever arguments Mr. Hitchcock may have raised. After the last time that I spoke on this proposed amendment, I submitted a Freedom of Information Act, which I've provided to you as a handout, asking to try and ascertain whether or not this business registration or business licensing, if it's a tax, or if it's just to have enough information so that police and fire can respond appropriately to various things. If you'll recall, last time I talked about the history of this ordinance and how it started off with hazardous materials and somehow has morphed into this ordinance now where basically the city of Romulus wants every business to register and be quote-unquote licensed in the city, or however they want to characterize it. But really what it boils down to is a tax. The first year you have to pay $150, the second year you have to pay $75, and every year after that it's another $75. Now that might not seem like much, but I asked for, well, how many businesses are doing business in the city of Romulus that are registered under this? And the FOIA came back at 3:30 this afternoon. 1,204 businesses are registered under this act, just under this alone. I don't believe that that's a complete number as to how many businesses are actually conducting business in Romulus, but this is how many the city clerk's office is responding to through a FOIA by saying these are the number of businesses or individuals that have paid this tax. I've looked at the amount that is being paid to the clerk that's listed under the Human Resources employee classifications. There's a person licensing/records tech. The pay rate starts off at 14.6967, and after the third year, it's up to 20.3084. I've done the math on that, and we're talking about entering 1,204 businesses, presumably into a computer database. So I would assume that that could be done effectively in the course of maybe a week. So this clerk is full-time, 52 hours or 52 weeks a year to enter what could be done in a week and being paid roughly $42,000 a year. That tax to the city of Romulus businesses is at a minimum just at $75 per business, $90,300. For the $175, if everybody's paying it for the first time, it's $180,600. So Mr. Hitchcock had opined at the last meeting that, well, it doesn't matter if there's not a service being offered in exchange to this to the local businesses. It's just if it's deferring costs. Well, this is not deferring costs. This is a profit-driven tax, plain and simple. I've taken a look at the surrounding communities to see, are they doing this as well? Van Buren Township, there is no business license registration and there's no fee. Huron Township, there's no business license registration and no fee. And furthermore, Huron Township even goes the step further to be business friendly by listing every local business that wants to be listed on its website, giving website information, telephone information, the type of business that it is, to promote local businesses. The city of Belleville has no business license registration and no fee. Sumter Township charges $50. Canton Township has business registrations for a very limited number of businesses, such as massage parlors, for obvious and clear reasons. The city of Northville, $40. Northville's median income is twice that of Romulus. $40 is what they're charging for the businesses to register there. The city of Taylor, this is very interesting because the city of Taylor has an excellent website. The business information that the city of Romulus wants to collect through this tax is freely available on the city of Taylor's website. It can be entered by the business owner for free, and it's automatically entered into the database. And then the city of Novi, this is the most revealing of all. This is at the very end of your packet. This is in November of 2009. The Novi City Council took another step towards streamlining doing business in Novi with the approval to repeal the requirement for business registration. Significant in this economic climate, the city of Novi is giving up revenue to be a better business partner and host to more than 2,100 businesses in the community. What does this mean for Novi businesses? Businesses will no longer need to complete a business registration nor pay the annual registration fee. Why the change? Over the past several years, Novi has made great strides in amending ordinances and changing policy to enhance customer service to our business community. Repealing the business registration requirement will save Novi businesses time and money. Business registrations were initially instituted for the purposes of obtaining emergency business contact information. Novi will still continue to internally maintain this information through our police and fire departments. This is $175 to initially register this, and then, or $150 to initially register, and then $75 every year to every business in Romulus is unfair. This is a tax. I gave Mr. Hitchcock some legal decisions that had stricken these and indicated that this is a violation of the Headley Amendment. This is a tax that's being levied against local businesses without any service being provided to the local business. And, I mean, I'm more than happy to answer any questions y'all might have. But instead of expanding this, because, again, the history or backdrop to this is that I was sent this letter. I pay my taxes. I pay taxes for as long as I've been in business here. This is just one more thing that I'm being asked to pay for, though. And Mr. Hitchcock's office sent me a letter threatening me with prosecution over at the 34th District Court if I didn't pay this. And I noted that 3 weeks after he had proposed this, because the definition, I don't feel, meets the definition of a law firm where I'm providing services. So it has been proposed to amend the language in the statute to add services to dovetail with Mr. Hitchcock's letter to my office threatening this prosecution at the 34th. To the contrary, Mr. Hitchcock shouldn't be, trying to extort this money from me. Instead, the city should be looking at repealing this as the city of Novi did. Any questions?
Mr., any comments on that?
You want me to comment? sir?
No, I said any comments.
Just a comment, John. Is this above the registration that they pay for being
There is no license unless there's another statute. There's a few exceptions of businesses. There might be other ordinances or statutes that require a license. No, this is, generally, we're not licensing anyone. We're just trying to, as I indicated last time, through a registration, they're giving us contact information of the owner so that 24/7, there's somebody that can be gotten a hold of if there's a problem in that particular facility.
But when a business goes into business in our town, don't they go to the clerk's office and you get a certificate of business?
No.
Yes.
You're saying no, she's saying yes.
Wait, well, you're asking, do they register their
Yeah,
business?
they register the business. Because most places you walk in, you see something on the wall.
Well, after it's gone through, with the various departments and has a C of O, the building department, the inspections, and it goes through, that's one of the processes with the business coming in, operating here in Romulus. I mean, you've got to have your, inspections and C of O. They don't start at the clerk's office. No, and I apologize, Steve, I didn't mean to contradict you there, but no, that's a process to register your business.
During this process, we don't get emergency telephone numbers and contact numbers?
On the application, yes, we do obtain emergency numbers and things. Am I not understanding your question?
No, then why are we doing this is my question.
Wait, maybe I'm misunderstanding.
Well, there's a lot of businesses that are already here that aren't getting any site plan approval. So yes, if it was a brand-new site, it was a vacant site and they're developing it, through the planning department, they do capture information. But many times, those site plans, there's professional architects or engineers and et cetera that are filing those on behalf of the applicant owner of the property. So we don't necessarily capture the personal contact information through that process that fire department or police department could
My
use going
question would
forward.
be, was he the only one that got the letter saying
No,
people did the same?
yes, those are all people that the clerk's office had repeatedly contacted and tried to get some contact information out of them before they received a letter.
Thank you, thank you.
Ms. Williams?
The issue that I have with it, it appeared that he received the letter, and then a week later, 2 weeks later, you asked the council to amend the ordinance.
And that was actually coincidence from that point of view, because I wasn't reacting to anything that Mr. Mays had said, but there were some other applicants who thought the language was confusing. And so while there had always been an intent, and as far as I know, for quite a while, for both service business and businesses selling goods to both register, because obviously the intent of having contact information doesn't really vary based upon the nature of the business that's being operated there. But to clarify the point, since it was brought up, we wanted to clarify that yes, this is intended to include both service business as well as businesses that are selling some goods, some retail operation out of a site.
So you're saying that this is the only way that you can come up with having a list of businesses? As the clerk said, they already have to register with the city. What made you come up with this fee?
I didn't come up with the fee. The clerk comes up with the fee amount. And I didn't come up with this ordinance either. It has existed prior to my time. So, but to answer the question, no, as I just indicated, we don't necessarily get that information even if it's a new site plan. And secondly, we have a lot of businesses that just reoccupy an existing building where we're not capturing that information. And the intent was to get it annually updated to make sure that it's still good, that even if someone owns a business, Mr. Mays, for example, at his business, he might move or change phone numbers or whatever, and so we want to make sure that we have accurate contact information. Now, I think I would agree with one thing he's saying, and that is that the clerk could continue to explore the cost of this and whether in this day and age there's some way to use the computer better, let people voluntarily help us capture the information by entering it into a computer without being required to have us spend clerical time entering it. That's a possibility.
I just, and then you give us this letter here at the council meeting, so it's really no time even getting Mr. Williams' information. It's like we gotta rush through and try to figure out what we wanna do with it. We've asked several times, and I know I've asked, that we get the information before so we can go over it and ask the necessary questions so we don't have to go through this during the council meeting.
This is a second reading, so it was on the agenda once before, and it was approved for first reading. And that's when I was asked to clarify why we were making the change. And it's, as I indicated, it's a change to try to clarify the way the words were stated in that section, but it's not a change of any intent of what was actually being done. A lot of these businesses that are registered are service businesses as well as businesses selling goods. So we're not trying to change the intent of what's been going on for a number of years of trying to have these registrations to try to capture and continue to have accurate information on the owner or who it is they want to be the contact person, providing us with numbers where they can be contacted, excuse me.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Are we talking about the same thing? Because I'm a little confused. So he's talking about fees.
She was.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What I was gonna say is, isn't that part of the assessor's job that they go out to visit the different businesses and they keep track of the businesses and measure their property and on and so forth? I mean, to me, it just doesn't seem fair that all of a sudden these fees would come up.
Not all of a sudden, you've been collecting them for years, but to answer your question, first, I don't believe the assessor sees every single property every year, nor does, I'm not sure that she actually asks for personal contact information when they're out looking at any improvements that have been done on a property.
Well, do you want to respond to that first, Ms.
If
Clerk?
you wouldn't mind, if I may, I'm sorry,
Oh, no, go
Councilman Talley. So, first, with regards to the fees have been in place, I want to say, since maybe 95, maybe earlier than that. So that it's not, we didn't just come up with the fees. Actually, we've modified the fees and we've lowered those fees because under the old fee schedule, you know, the way the fees were proportioned and things. So we've looked at the fees and modified those fees. That's number one. So it's not a new fee. Number two, I would agree with you, Mr. Mays, about the technology as far as the business owner going online. We just don't have that technology yet, but that's something we can look into. This, as Mr. Hitchcock has said, is that the ordinance has been in place for, I mean, many years, you know. So as the ordinance, as things come up, as Mr. Hitchcock said, you know, with the language, there were several. This didn't come up because of Mr. Mays. This was already in effect and in the works, as our clerk had pointed this out, and we did check with Steve, and this was a couple of months ago, actually, this part of the ordinance, but we have to, you know, before we brought it to you. So this isn't something new. The letter, for example, that was in your packet, that Mr. Hitchcock's opinion, that was in your packet. So when you picked up your packet, that letter actually was attached to that agenda item. And this is a response because the question did come up. I know you had some questions too, Councilwoman Williams, at the last council meeting during the first reading of this. So we wanted clarification for everyone. So that's why we asked Mr. Hitchcock if he would give us an opinion letter so that that you all would have it before coming to the council meeting. Mr. Mays did submit a FOIA request in which we responded to that FOIA request. Some of not sure the calculations with the numbers, I'd have to go back and look at that, but, you know, every community is a little bit different. The dynamics demographics is made up a little different. It used to be called business licensing. Business registration. So we want to make sure that it's just registration, so that we're not overcharging our businesses. We have about 5 law offices here. Don't quote me on that. I believe it's around 5 law offices, and they all have registered with us. And again, it's we work very close with our assessor's office to make sure that we have our businesses. We've caught businesses that sometimes the assessor didn't have, and we had to make sure that we had updated information. For example, we had a business that there was a reoccupancy, and they came in to pay for that business license, but then we had to contact the planning department for that information. There's three owners to this one business, and they hadn't registered. They hadn't, you know, there were a lot of violations there that they had not complied with. So we work hand in hand with the fire department, with the building department, with the business department, and to make sure that our businesses are in compliance with our ordinances. This is not a tax. This is not considered a tax assessed. We look at the numbers, and we will go back and look at it again, Mr. Mays, at the fees. These are fees, administration fees, and we will go back and look at them again, just to make sure that we have assessed and that that our fees are, you know, because we are aware of the Bolt law. We are aware of that. So it's more just cost recovery, our cost for processing the licenses and the administration fees. And that may have answered your questions, or may not have answered your questions, but I'm just saying, we've provided that information. You have a copy of a proposed fee schedule. It's been on the fee schedule. Another thing that came out of this, looking at the fees, that's why we have a fee schedule that you all get to preview. And this goes back, I believe, probably when, several years ago that we implemented the fee schedule so that you'll be able to see the fees that are being, to our residents and to our businesses and things. So that's why, so that you can see what's being calculated so that you approve it. It's not just us saying, here's some fees here charging our businesses and residents. We provide the fee schedule for you to review and for you to approve. So this isn't a new fee or something new. And again, not to be redundant, but this ordinance amendment did not come up as a result of Mr. Mays's comments or remarks. It just kind of added to that. We're already aware.
Ms. Webb, did you still want to say something?
Yes, I do.
Yes, proceed.
Through the chair, if I may.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Clerk, for clarifying that, but I have a couple of things to clarify. I made the motion only because of the experience that I have working formally in the clerk's office. We've always had business licenses and registration license. And as the clerk said, they've changed that to just registration now. So that is saving money. It's not considered a tax, but I guess what I want clarified through the clerk is there a specific employee as a registration clerk? So her salary, that's her job description, is to follow up. So I don't feel that there should be any yearly increases on that matter. But there is a specific fee for the registration. And we have to have that as a city in order, as has been said over and over, emergencies, for our first responders, also for the city itself. But also, there is nothing in the ordinance that addresses these fees. And as far as the attorney's letter, which we just received, the city is only attempting to cover the cost of handling the request for this information, entry of the data, and ability to access at 24/7. Okay, that's fine. But as far as covering costs, that's that employee's job description in that office. There should not be any increase because she or he is doing his work. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't been in the clerk's office for a few years, but I'm just saying, if I'm a clerk in the clerk's office and part of my job is to handle registration or business license or whatever, why should we have to increase these fees every year instead of just leaving it as, what is it now? What is the fee for registration?
For a new business coming in, it's $150.
$150.
Annually, it's only $75
Okay.
a year. And there hasn't been any increase. We've actually reduced those fees.
Okay, those fees have been reduced, but when I'm looking at it and what you said, and just like my, we get this at the last minute. And this was a surprise to me to get increases the way it was stated in here over the next 3 years. But there is an initial $150, correct? And then it's $75 each year thereafter for registration, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So when I was there, it was only $50. So times have changed, but it's not increasing. I think we're all getting confused because there's too much being thrown at us, whether it's a business license, which there's no more a business license, it's now registration. But whatever the clerk has presented, I go along with her, but I have to clarify that this is not in our ordinance to increase these rates. I mean, if we're voting on this, what are we voting on? Are we voting on, because there's been too many, the issue is what's confusing everybody. It's just too many things thrown at us at one time. We're going from site plans over to, occupancies. I just want to address what he's asking and hearing your explanation for what he's asking. We don't need everything else thrown into the mix.
Well, the only thing you're being asked to approve has nothing to do with the money that's being charged for it. That's in a fee schedule that once a year you approve, a fee schedule that includes the fees for all the departments, all the various things that they're charging for. You're not being asked to change it from the last fee schedule that you approved.
See, no disrespect, and I don't mean to interrupt you. See, you keep bringing things in. That's not what we're speaking of right now.
Correct. You're not-
I'm just going along with the fee rates. Why should those rates be increased every year from the FOIA to reimburse or take care of an employee's job? I don't understand that.
If I may, the increases that I'm reflecting from the Freedom of Information Act materials that I received from the clerk's office is the clerk's increase, which is going to go up with cost of living and that sort of thing. The problem that I have with this is that the fees that are being assessed
No idea.
are more than twice as much as what that clerk is making. And this is the clerk's full-time job. Presumably, it only takes like a week or two for this information to be entered. If all this information came in on one day, and we sat this clerk down and said, enter it as quickly as you can, a week, maybe 2 weeks worth of work.
Yeah.
The rest of the year, that clerk is presumably doing something else, working on some other projects. But us local business owners will have already have paid that clerk's entire annual salary and another $40,000 or $50,000 on top of that.
Not to interrupt you, sir, but you will not be in no other business here where we'll be paying the clerk's salary. So see, that's the confusing part. I'm speaking of the fee itself. We're gonna leave the clerks out of the clerk's salary. It has absolutely nothing to do with this. I was just asking why fees were increased, because if you have an employee doing that job, then that employee's salary is included in that. It has nothing to do with the clerk nor her salary. And that's the problem that I have when we get things at the last minute and people come before us, then I don't have a chance to talk with the clerk. I don't have a chance to speak with anyone in regards to this because there are too many issues and too many things being thrown into the mix. I made that motion. I'm gonna stand on my motion, because now that I see what's going on, that's what it is. It's the ordinance. You are a businessman in our community, and you have to pay a fee.
Okay.
And it's not about anyone's salary, it's the fee.
Okay, Ms. Abdo had one, and then Mr. Wadsworth. Ms. Abdo first.
First of all, we as a council will be reviewing the fees on May 13th. May 13th we vote. We have a fee schedule that's just been presented to us. As a council, we have the time to go over that, and if we disagree with the fees, we can change it at then. What's on the agenda isn't really concerning the fee.
Right.
So I think we should move ahead. We have heard your complaint, and we appreciate it, and we have time now to go through the fee schedule. Now, the one thing I did want to clarify with Ms. Bragg, these fees have not gone up, right?
No, ma'am.
That's what I thought I heard you say, and I wanted to make sure I heard it correctly. All right, that's it.
Mr. Wadsworth.
Basically, I agree with what Mrs. Abdu said. The only one that talked about a $175 fee was Mr. Mays. Nowhere, or 150, or nowhere in this document that we talk about the fees. All we're doing is going to approve it, the ordinance, and then on May 13th, we will address the fees. Okay.
Okay, Ms. Roscoe.
And I just like to clarify that we got Mr. Hitchcock's letter in our packet. So we didn't just get his letter at the last minute. We got your information this evening, which we haven't had time to go through. But again, just like Ms. Abdo said, which I was gonna mention, we have plenty of time to go over the fee schedule. And I know from the years that I've been here, the fee for registration has gone down. It has been more in line with what we need. In fact, a lot of them have gone down, and some of them have gone up in alignment with what we need as a city here. But I just wanted to clarify that we did have Mr. Hitchcock's information and plenty of time to review that in our packet. And the ordinance that we're going over tonight, again, like my colleagues have said, has nothing to do with the fee schedule. That's in a couple weeks from now. It's just clarification of the wording of this ordinance.
Okay.
Thank you all very much.
And I just want to clear this up, Celeste. You may have picked your packet up. I get my packet through my email, so I didn't get this letter until I got to this meeting tonight. So, and if anyone else didn't pick their council packet up, the letter was attached in the packet. So I didn't know anything about the city attorney's letter until I got here tonight.
Okay, read, let's move forward.
I just, if I may, Mr. Chair, just want to clear something. When we receive, just for clarification, when we receive letters or attorney opinion letters that's confidential, we don't send those out electronically because they are confidential. So we, have your packets ready for everyone to pick up. We have them ready on Thursday evenings for you all to pick up. So so that you would have this letter, we were trying to do our due diligence to make sure as you're going through your packet, oh, we have a letter here that's right here too, not something that's just thrown in there. It's right here with the packet. So as you flip through it, you could see it because I've heard you. You've all said, hey, we want to receive information ahead of time. So we did, Councilwoman Williams, make that effort so that you would have this information ahead of time. And again, things that are confidential from the attorney, we do not send those electronically, just because of the privacy, therefore that, if that clears that up.
Thank you.
So if there's no further discussion here, I'd like to read this motion for council to take action. 6A1, for second reading and final adoption of an ordinance to amend Chapter 30 Licensing, Article 2, General Business Registration, Section 30-21, to include services and isolated sale of services. And this ordinance was introduced at the council meeting of April 8th, 2019.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion for second reading, final adoption of an ordinance to amend Chapter 30 Licensing, Article 2, General Business Registration, Section 30-21, to include services and isolated sale of services.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Mr. Wadsworth. Second reading, final adoption of an ordinance to amend Chapter 30 Licensing, Article 2, General Business Registration, Section 30-21, to include services and isolated sales of services. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
No,
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. That's, but before we close out my report, Mayor Burcroft had acknowledged Jean DeBicky, and Ms. Fitzgerald commented, had some really nice remarks, but we need to take a motion for, to adopt a resolution in celebration of her 90th birthday. So if someone would please entertain a motion.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Roscoe for resolution. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
yes,
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, and motion is approved.
Okay, and Councilman Barton has already announced the citywide free dumping and also the household hazardous waste collection. And with that, that concludes.
Pardon me, Mr. Barden, if I could, to the clerk, Mr. Barden, did you say that you could take a couch or furniture there too?
I'm not sure, I have to,
3 articles of like furniture you can take.
You can take.
yeah, 3 per household.
Okay, fine, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. That concludes the clerk's report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
6B is the treasurer's report.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, there are no items to report under the treasurer's report. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Treasurer.
Okay, number 7 is public comment, and this is the portion of the agenda for those in the audience that would like to address City Council. The rules, you can find them on the back of your agenda. And if you would like to address city council, please raise your hand. And after being acknowledged by the chairperson, approach the podium and state your name. Please note that you have 3 minutes to speak, and any additional time would be upon the consent of the chairperson. Mr. Chair and council, we do have one written request
Okay.
under public comment, and this is coming from Mr. Jim Henderson.
Hi, folks. Thanks for the time. My name's Jim Henderson. I live on Taft Street, south of Ecorse. I'm here to tell you that the Freeman Drain has blown its banks. It's all over my neighborhood. It comes out east of, the Freeman Drain's a 4-foot pipe that pops out east of Merriman Road, and it has nowhere to go. The drains are gone. That's where they stopped the project. So from Leonardo's all the way up and down to Cottage Inn, that's all one piece of water. All that green grass, that's water. The ditch is clogged at Coleman. It creates a half-mile of water. Second problem is out by Smith Road. Somebody's bulldozed in a large ditch. It feeds the Ecorse River. That water's also traveled a half-mile coming in behind us. The water's made its way through the woods. It's in our backyards, all 6 homes. My next-door neighbor's yard is underwater. His back garage, his fence, and the backside of his house has cracked. The combined effect of these 2 ponds are causing a sinkhole right at Taft and the Freeman. It's 4 foundations cracked in 60 days. I can't get Wayne County out there. These guys have helped me a lot, but that seems to be a county problem. Maybe you guys can get them to answer the phone. Thank you folks for your time.
Thank you. Any other comments from the audience?
Excuse me. Can I?
Go ahead, Ms.
respond?
Abdo.
Yes, as the city, can we contact the county for Mr. Henderson? I know I met him earlier at a, okay, so we'll have the city try to contact the county, at least try to help you out.
The county came out 3 weeks ago. I drove around with 2 guys in a truck for an hour, and I walked them out through prickle bushes. It was pretty good. But they took 150 photos. It's supposed to go to the engineers. The water's still coming at us. The road's still moving. Property foundations, 4 in a row.
Well, hopefully we can put some pressure on him. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the audience? There are no other comments? Comments closed.
Eight is unfinished business.
Mr. Barton?
Yes, Mr.
If I
Wadsworth.
can, and just a quick comment about the folks that live in the south end of the Oak Brook sub that are about to get a brand-new street down there. A lot of them are concerned, and, you know, about how they're gonna get in, how they're gonna get out. And I would just ask the public to please bear with us, the DPW and Roberto we're working on that problem, but you're gonna have a brand-new road when it's done. So please try to bear with us. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wadsworth.
Is there any more unfinished business? Number 9 is new business.
John?
Yes, Mr. Wadsworth.
If I can, to Mayor Burkroff, you know, Mayor, at North Line and, it's the road, it's Hannon, we have a new Amazon facility, and that's good for us, for our town, it gives people works. But the people that do the delivering are using Hannon Road going both north and south as a racetrack. I was behind one on Saturday night that passed me at 54, 55 miles an hour on Hannon Road. He went down Barth towards 275 and went south. And possibly our police chief could have contact with the terminal manager there and to give them fair warning that if it doesn't slow down, that we're gonna take action.
Yeah, absolutely. That's an Amazon. Obviously, that's a small package pickup where we have
The vans.
vehicles and small vans. And we'll definitely make contact and turn up the heat. I've noticed that too in that area. Just a lot more traffic in a problematic area that we're trying to get the county to help us fix there also. But we'll turn up some attention through PD and try to clamp down on it because it is an issue. I agree.
And I think it's only fair to go there and give them warning that
Right.
if it doesn't change, that we're gonna take.
Absolutely.
The police department will be taking action.
I'll make sure they're contacted. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay. The agenda calls for number 10, communication. Any
Yes. Ms. Webb?
Oh, I'm sorry, that was
Go.
Sister.
You got communication?
That was Councilwoman Tally first. I'll go after her.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I would just like to say to our fire department, our fire chief is here this evening. Fire Chief Dave Allison was also in attendance at a funeral for one of our volunteer firemen who passed away, Darnell Hurst. It was such a beautiful, moving presentation by the chiefs. The family said to tell you thank you, and they will never, ever forget it, because you two guys gave a family a memory, and his girls a memory for the rest of their lives. There was not a dry eye in the church. I believe the clerk, city clerk was there, city treasurer was there. It was so very moving. And I just want to thank you and thank the firemen. Thank you so much.
John, just one more
Yes.
comment about Darnell. I didn't attend the service, but Darnell, may you rest in peace.
Yeah. I also attended that service also, and it was moving, got well attended, and, great family. I know he will be missed.
Mr. Barton. The mayor made mention about the Easter weekend, and I just want to piggyback off that, because before Resurrection Sunday, we have Good Friday, and we had an awesome Good Friday walk in the service. I want to just do some shout outs to some people who helped us with biblical portrayals on the walk. Priscilla Herring from the Senior Center, thank you so much. This was her first year doing it, and she did a great job. Pastor Zakeem, who's a minister in our community, he had brought 3 of his members along, and they did biblical portrayals as well. I want to shout out to Gail Mispa for doing her pilot's wife. Thank you. This is her 2nd year doing that for us. And then we had Judge Oakley, who did a mini-scene Pontius Pilate on the walk, and thank you for that. We had our city treasurer, who did Mother Mary, thank you. I was the woman with the elevator box, and then I found out that's Mary. So anyway, but Pastor Cole was actually on the cross, technically, but he was on the cross. So thank you, Pastor Cole, for being on the cross, representing on that day. And just a special shout out to our city clerk, Ellen Bragg, and Latrell Charles. We had no music planned for our ceremony, and we was filled with music by them collaborating and coming in, and just, Reverend Willis, he just pulls you, and you just be ye ready in season and out. So thank you for providing the music we needed for our program. And it was an amazing worship and an amazing walk. We're looking to do something bigger and better next year, and we hope more people will participate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any more communication? Okay. Number 11 for approval is warrant 19-08.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we pay warrant 19-08 for the following amounts. General Fund, $88,075.63. Major Street Fund, $2,522.61. Local Street Fund, $3,006.53. Merriman Road Special Assessment, $338.32. Garbage and Rubbish Collection Fund, $87,070.20. CDBG, $18,662.29. NARC Forfeiture State, $36.02. Library Fund, $10,517.86. DDA, $20,195.75. Tifa District 2, $178,018.49. CIP bonds for the court building, $353,337.50. E-course and Vining capital improvement bonds, $222,112.50. Court building construction fund, $17,377.34. Water and sewer fund, $343,333.91. Motor vehicle, $26,695.75. Technology services, $1,266.21. Retiree insurance benefits, $4,042.25. Property Liability Insurance Fund, $15,000. Revolving Fund, $2,173. General Tax Fund, $6,215. Current Tax, $14.98. Delinquent Personal Property Fund, $95,347.31. Payroll Fund, $61,098.04, totaling all funds as $1,556,457.49.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Tally, to pay warrant number 19-08 for $1,556,457.49. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth? Chair votes yes, warrant number 19-08 will be paid.
Number 12 is adjournment.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Abdo for adjournment. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Ms. Williams? Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, we are adjourned. Thank you.